Okay. Grateful that you're all here and excited to show you all of the capabilities and things you can do with Tango to help drive software process adoption in your organization. So, couple couple sort of notes as we get started. Um, we don't have, we have 12 or 13 people here. So really at any time, if you want to come off mute and ask a question, I encourage you to do that. We will have like open Q&A at the end, but if you've got a question that's relevant to what we're looking at in that moment, feel free to ask it. The chat is disabled, but you can use the Q&A feature in your Zoom panel. If you open that and prefer to type your question in there, I'll see it and I'll try to answer it, as soon as I can. And again, worst case scenario, I'll get to it at the end. So yeah, besides that, let's get rolling. So there are five things you can do with Tango, five sort of groups of features that are available to you in the product. A lot of you may have found Tango as a Chrome extension that makes it really easy for you to make how-to guides or standard operating procedures. That's absolutely one of the things we do. You'll hear me refer to those how-to guides and standard operating procedures you can make a lot in this demo as walkthroughs, but that's kind of for the sake of this conversation, I'll probably use those interchangeably. So creating how-to guides or creating walkthroughs, super fast, super easy. That's absolutely one of the amazing things you can do with Tango. But there's a bunch of other things you can do with Tango that you may not be aware of that I'm excited to show you. So one of the, excuse me, one of the most important things that you can do next, in fact, if you want a lot of people to use the walkthroughs that you create with Tango, we want you to integrate those walkthroughs into the tools that your coworkers use on a day-to-day basis. So one of the things I'm going to show you is how to take those walkthroughs and embed them where your coworkers work so they can easily and quickly find them and be more likely to use them. We then have some cool features that are designed to make it really easy for your end users, your coworkers, maybe your customers, to actually follow along and adopt those processes more easily, kind of in a new, novel way that's different from the traditional training guide. Excited to show you that. We then have these great analytics that let you see if your training and enablement work and your work with Tango is actually working, or if it's not working, where you can go in and optimize the process to get better adoption. And then finally, the fifth pillar of our product, excuse me, the fifth pillar of our product that I'm going to show you is how to protect all the sensitive information that might inadvertently or intentionally get pulled into the walkthroughs that you create. Somebody typed into the Q&A a great question. What are the differences between the pro and business plans? What's the pricing? Are there discounts available? I'm 100% going to answer that question in a few minutes. Once I show you some of the capabilities, I'll show you the different plans and which features are available in which plans. So if it's okay, I'm gonna come back to that question. So okay, let's jump to the demo right now. I actually think I'm gonna skip ahead to number 3 because I think there's a really cool feature that most of you may not even be aware of that's available in Tango that's related to pillar 3, which is about guiding your end users through adoption. So I'm going to start there because it's exciting and cool, and a lot of you may not be aware of it. And then I'll work my way back down, sequentially through 1, 2, and then 4 and 5. So to tee up this part of the demo related to pillar, the guide pillar, I want you to imagine that you're not you're not the operations system admin, learning and development, business applications person that you probably are, trainer. You're the end user. And put yourself in this scenario where you're a sales rep at your organization. And there was a webinar this week that your company did. And your job right now, right this minute on Thursday morning, is to follow up with all the people who attended the webinar who asked to be contacted by sales because they're interested in getting pricing or learning more. So that's your job right now. Unfortunately, you were not paying attention at all when the person explained how to do that. So you don't know how to get these leads and how to follow up with them. Think about what you would normally do in that scenario. Maybe you would normally tap somebody on the shoulder if you're in the office. Maybe you would send them a note on Teams or Slack. Maybe you would email them. Maybe if you're a really good employee, you would go to the knowledge base and look for a help article or a video that was there that they put there that showed you how to do it. Imagine if you didn't have to do any of those things. Let me show you what your end user can do instead of doing those things that they might like a lot better with the Tango guide capability. So I'm here at HubSpot, okay? HubSpot is a marketing tool. All you need to know about it for the sake of this demo is that this is where the webinar leads are. So I, as the sales rep in this scenario, didn't memorize the whole process when it was being shared in the meeting the other day, but I at least know enough to know that the leads are here in HubSpot. Now, instead of doing all those other things that we expect people to do normally, watch what I can do instead. I have previously had this Tango Chrome extension installed for me by our IT team on my browser. And actually ignore this big orange capture button because as a regular end user, I wouldn't have that button there because I'm not a content creator. So pretend that that's not there. What I would see though, in the role of a regular end user, is a list of all the guides that are available to me for this website, HubSpot, that I'm working in. And so you'll notice that I can browse guides that are available to me. You'll notice that I can search if I don't see the one that I want right away. And I can do all that without leaving HubSpot. Fortunately for me, I found the one I think I'm looking for. Add webinar lead into Salesforce. So pay close attention to what happens on the screen when I click this guide. Couple pretty cool things are going to happen. All right. First of all, notice that this Tango panel opened on the right-hand side. This Tango panel has a list of all the steps listed out for me here, which is really helpful. But an actually even better, cooler thing happened when I clicked that guide. Tango just overlaid itself right on top of my HubSpot software that I'm working on. And it's now highlighting the button that I need to click right on the screen. So I don't even have to like refer to the guide on the right. I certainly don't have to like open a different tab to the guide. It's right here embedded in HubSpot. All I really need to do is follow the orange box. You're gonna hear me say that phrase a bunch. So I'm just gonna follow the orange box. Let's see what happens. So it's telling me to click contacts. I'm gonna click contacts. It's telling me to click lists. I'm gonna click lists. I'm guessing right now that it's gonna open a bunch of webinars that have happened. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I had the wrong HubSpot tab open. Let's try that again. Okay, so let's go back to notice what happened there is I got a little lost. The Tango AI is pretty smart. When I decided I wanted to start the process over again, I just clicked that option on the right and it's reset me back to stage one so I could kind of get my bearings. Now I have the right HubSpot tab open, the sandbox one. I don't want to show you any personal information and the sensitive Tango information. Okay, so let's click contacts. Let's click lists. Let's see what we get when we click lists here. We are going to get a bunch of marketing lists, I'm guessing. Okay, this is good. I see a few different webinars that we've done. The one I'm looking for is the tips and tricks webinar. So what's interesting about this right here is that the first two steps that I clicked, I had to click those exact buttons. But the Tango AI knows in this case that in order to progress successfully in this process, I can actually click any of these webinars. So notice it's saying click on any of the events listed. So I know that the one I'm following up on is the tips and tricks webinar. So I'm going to click that. So presumably it's opening a list of people from the tips and tricks webinar that wanted to be followed up on. Fetty, I see your question about how this is integrated. So Fetty asked, can this technology be integrated into the tools that your people use? Not just as a Chrome extension, but as like a button that's integrated into your app. I'll say more about this when I get to the integrate section, but the short answer is no. We didn't design it that way, and here's why. And we have had customers create about 2 million software process walkthroughs in Tango over the last 3 years. And what we found is that over 60% of those are multi-application business processes. In other words, and you're actually about to see this in the demo that I'm doing right now, most business processes are not confined to a single application, right? So you're about to see me as a sales rep following up on leads. In a second, we're going to jump from HubSpot to this other system, our CRM that we use. Constantly, people are going from spreadsheets to one app to another app. When you look at the ability to support those multiple applications together in a single workflow for the end user that's seamless, we found that our Chrome extension was the best way to support multiple apps. So there are some ways we can work with you, Fetty, and maybe we'll have time to talk about that at the end. Okay, but let's get back into our demo. So I'm inside the tips and tricks webinar, and I want to follow up with any of these leads here. Let's start with Chloe Williams. So I'm going to click her name. Again, presumably, I'm just following the orange box here. I don't really know what's going to happen, but presumably the information for Chloe is going to open up. Looks like that's what's happening. What is the orange box telling me to do now? It is telling me to click on her email. Okay, so let's click that. Now, this is what I was just talking about. Watch what just happened. Tango knows that the next step in this process is not in HubSpot, it's in Salesforce. I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't even have Salesforce open. It opened that tab for me automatically. We have a single sign-on that caches my credentials. So all I have to do now is click log in, and then Tango AI is just going to keep me moving in the process. So again, we just follow the orange box. Orange box now is telling me to click on leads. So I click leads. It wants me to open this drop-down menu on the left. So I click that. It wants me to click lead again. So I do that. I guess now we're going to fill out the lead. So I'll type in Chloe. I type in Williams. I forget her company name. So let's just type in test company. Okay. Wants me to select one of these options. So I'll select, we're working the lead. Now check this out. Remember earlier we copied Chloe's email. So now we're gonna paste it. So we just paste it. It knows we're done pasting. And boom. Now, if we hit save, we will have just completed this process. So in a second, I'm going to show you how easy it was for the process expert, sales operations person, whoever it was, Salesforce administrator. I want to show you how easy it was and quick it was to create this workflow. But I just want you to think for a minute how different that process was for your end user compared to what they normally have to do. So I have a slide for that, actually. Let me. So instead of think about the expectations on our end users. Our coworkers are expected to use 10 or 20 different software programs throughout the week to do their job. Each of those softwares has, minimum of 10 or 20 different processes they probably need to use to work in there. So do the math, it's hundreds of processes. We expect them to go through like a one-time upfront training on those and then just memorize all of them and then be able to perform them correctly, accurately. And if they don't memorize those processes inevitably, here's what we expect. We expect them to maybe, go seek out the answers, search the knowledge base to find what they're looking for. If they're lucky enough to find what they're looking for in the knowledge base, they may get a dense text-based document or a video that's pretty long that they have to watch. We don't think you should ask your end users to do any of those things, right? We have this idea of what training can be that we call real-time enablement, where your end users actually can use all of their mental energy on their real work. Yeah, software is a critical part of how you do your job, but it's like the gateway to you doing your real job of innovating new products or helping customers or generating revenue. So there's so many other things that your employees could use their mental energy on besides memorizing software procedures, especially since those software procedures are changing constantly. They have to constantly relearn them. So what we think you should do instead, what we think of as real-time enablement, is don't ask them to memorize any of those software processes. Take the walkthroughs or the instructions for them, embed them right inside the tools that they use, and then just allow them to brainlessly follow along like you saw me there follow the orange box. So that's what we think of when we think of it as real-time enablement. So as I mentioned, I jumped ahead there a little bit to guide. Let me go backwards now and show you as a trainer or a process expert how easy it is to create those walkthroughs and then how I integrated them into the tools. So let's actually go back to Salesforce. This is a CRM that a lot of people are familiar with. And let's now pretend that I'm you. I'm the trainer, I'm the process expert. And now in this moment, it's my job to create the walkthrough. So again, I'm going to open the Tango Chrome extension. If you're on our pro or business plan, you also have the ability to capture processes that are desktop based with our desktop capture software. Okay, so I'm showing this all in web-based SaaS applications, but we do have the ability for you to capture desktop software as well. I'm going to click this big orange capture button. And again, watch what happens. A panel opens again. This time the panel is blank because what this panel is there for is to show us in real time the process that we're creating. All we have to do to create a walkthrough in Tango is do the process. So again, if I'm going to show somebody, let's say, how to enter a lead into Salesforce, I do the process. So we click on leads. Notice it's showing me exactly what it just captured on the right. So there's no surprises later. I'm going to open this drop-down menu. I'm going to click lead. Okay, I want to show you how easy it is to like fix something if you do something wrong. Let's say that I like errantly click on this thing. You see it captured that here, and I'm like, that's actually not what I meant to do. I don't want that, or I changed my mind. You in real time can just delete that step and then just keep going. Okay, so now we want them to, enter. Oh, I did it again. Actually, I didn't mean to click that. So let's delete that. You want them to enter first name. What's happening? Want them to enter last name. You want them to fill out this field. Okay, you get the picture. And then you go down, you click save. Now, let's just pretend that I'm done capturing my process. And all we have to do, by the way, look at this, sensitive info detected. It's another important AI feature that we have. Remember that. I'm going to tell you in about a minute or 2 minutes what's going on there. It's a really important security feature we have. But for now, let's just finish our flow by clicking this button. What's happening right now is all you did was click through your process like you normally would. What we did was capture all the movements, and now what Tango AI is doing for you is creating a beautiful walkthrough. It's going to pull all the screenshots. It's going to crop them for you. It's going to add that orange box as an annotation around all the places where you clicked, so that if your end user is using the guide version of this, their eye can get drawn to the right thing. The AI is writing out the name of this workflow for you based on what it saw. It wrote all the description step names here for you, and that's it. Now you can come in and customize this. There's a lot of advanced customization features. I'll show you a couple of cool ones. So let's come down here to this screenshot and edit it. Couple important things here. So if you want to just embellish this with like arrows or text, you can, right? Hello. You can move the box around if you need to do that. But remember, I mentioned that security feature. By the way, you can customize all the colors in some of our plans. So if you don't like orange, you want purple, blue, you want to match it to the exact color of your logo and company colors, you can do that. Remember, I mentioned that security feature. Let me show you a really cool feature. So here is our blur button. Okay, now we see some names here. These aren't real names, but let's pretend they were. Here's my name, Rocco Saboth. If I want to get rid of this sensitive information so it doesn't appear in any screenshots that are associated with this process when it gets shared, I can blur out my name. Now, the AI is asking me, do you want to blur out Rocco Saboth across all the screenshots in this entire process? Imagine if this was a 70-step process with 70 screenshots. You don't want to manually go through and blur them all out. The AI will do that for you. So let's say find matches. It found a few more matches. Here you can look at less likely matches too if you want. But let's say that we want to blur out this for sure match. We click blur 2 steps, and it's automatically going to blur those out. Again, if you have this across 50 screenshots, it would save you an incredible amount of time. So that is how you can customize your tangos. You can change the descriptions here really easily just by coming in and writing something different. Okay, now that was our create pillar, which was pillar 1. Now let me show you how you can integrate these walkthroughs that you created into where your people already work, so they'll find them more easily and be more likely to use them. We already talked about one way you can integrate Tango walkthroughs into your tools. If your end users have a license and a Chrome extension, which you can silently install for them without them having to manually do anything, they'll automatically have Tangos embedded in all of their different tools they use. Notice here in Salesforce, Tango AI knows there's 11 walkthroughs for Salesforce, but when I'm in Notion, Tango knows there's 20. When I'm in HubSpot, Tango knows there's 20. When I'm in Coda, Tango knows there's 10. So this is one way you can embed the walkthroughs directly into where your users work with the Chrome extension. The other way is Tango is really friendly with the investment you've made in your existing training and enablement tech stack, like learning management systems and knowledge bases. So let me show you. We'll click on the share and export button. Let's see, there's a question here. we include a step without an image? So one question from was, can we include a step without an image? And the answer is absolutely yes. And in a second, I'll show you how you can do that. So there's a bunch of ways you can share your tangos. You can share them by email. You can, I want to show you the embed feature. Okay. So you have the ability to embed your tangos into a bunch of different knowledge bases and learning tools so that if you have spent a lot of time training your employees to go to the knowledge base to look for things, they can find your tangos when they get there. This embed works with 99.9% of websites, knowledge bases, LMSs. So if you don't see the logo for the one you use here, that's okay. You can click any other platform and copy this link. And let's make sure on the sharing settings that we have everyone in the workspace, anyone can view. So we're going to click the copy button. Now let me show you how beautiful that looks. This is Notion. It's a knowledge base, but if you have Confluence or SharePoint or whatever you use, here I'm inside of a Notion wiki, and here you see creating a lead in Salesforce, that guide we made earlier, how beautifully it embeds in and all the different ways your users can look at it. So they can browse it from right to left. This one is cool because it allows you to preview the steps and jump directly to the step that you may want. Some people may want to work with this more in a way that feels like a PDF. So you can also scroll up and down similar to a PDF. So there's really a lot of different ways that different end users with different preferences can experience your tangos inside of the knowledge bases and learning management systems and chat tools. So we have another feature. We have these links that are optimized for Slack and Teams and email. So you drop them in and they unfurl beautifully with a preview image and a bunch of information about your tangos. So by doing this, yeah, Anurag, if you just want to come off mute, hope I said that right. You can come off mute and just ask your question.
Yeah, if there is a conditional flow on a particular web page whereby based on the value selected by an end user, the flow is different, can that walkthrough kind of dynamically adjust to show how the navigation is going to work from that
Yeah.
point onwards?
Yeah, we don't have like full-blown conditional logic built into Tango yet. But as you can imagine, like this scenario comes up with basically all of our customers. So there's a few workarounds that our customers use that work really well. I can email you some examples of what some customers have done. You can also join our Slack community, which you can find on our website. And there's a bunch of really great power users in there that can also probably, depending on which systems you use, can give you some tips. And I can connect with you one-to-one offline as well and show you how some of those customers have done it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So we're at the top of the hour. So in case some of you have to drop, I wanna show you pricing and plans and a couple of the other features that I mentioned. So okay, so so we talked about how quickly and easily you can create walkthroughs. We talked about how easily you can integrate them into the tools your your users use so that they're more likely to find the help they need at their fingertips when they need it. And so then they're way more likely to use the work that you did to help them. We talked about the guide option, which just allows me to brainlessly follow the orange box that's overlaid right on top of the website I'm using, so I don't have to memorize all the software processes. One of the really important features that we have is the ability for you to look at adoption and optimize. So if you're on some of our plans, you have these advanced analytics that show you exactly on a team level and an individual level how successful your people are using your processes. So here's an example on the left of a 13-step process, but you can see most people are falling out at step 3 or 4. So that tells you that you have a problem in step 3 and 4. People are getting stuck. Maybe it's in the software. Maybe your guide wasn't very clear. Maybe you need more context on what's happening there. And so it's the most scientific way possible to see why people are not finishing the process, instead of just waiting for them to complain or using anecdotes or hoping that people will speak up. You can scientifically see where people are getting stuck, and you can see that on an individual basis as well. So you can provide tailored help to the people or teams who need it. I will jump to the final slide that I want to show you, which is all about pricing. So that analytics feature and that guided overlay feature where you just follow the orange box, those features are available in our business and enterprise plans. But so those are great if you're doing like a software rollout, a software upgrade, and you have to train a bunch of people on you have a project where you're going to train a team of maybe 10 or more people. Excuse me. If you're just looking to create how-to guides, you can do that in our free and pro plan. So if you've not made a Tango, you can a Tango walkthrough, you can literally go right now, go to tango.us, install our Chrome extension. It's completely free, and you can make up to 10 walkthroughs completely free. You can export them as a PDF. You can share the link. You can even use that knowledge base embed integration that I showed you. You can do that completely free. If you need more than 10 walkthroughs, if you need to capture steps from desktop software, if you need custom branding, you can upgrade to our pro plan, which is as little as $20 a month. And again, if you're going to use this for one or more departments in your organization, if you need some business features like single sign-on integration, if you want the analytics, if you need more security, then you should talk to sales about our business plan. If you want to book a demo to talk to sales, you're going to get an email from me in about 10 minutes, with a bunch of additional resources and blogs you can read about real-time enablement and how to use advanced Tango features. You can reply to that email and I can introduce you to sales. You can go to our homepage, tango.us, and look at the calendar of sales reps in your area and book a demo for a 30-minute Zoom directly that way. And they can show you all the additional features, give you pricing, let you know if there's any volume discounts. The business plan starts at hundreds of dollars per month to give you a frame of reference. And again, it's really good for if you're going to be using this with a team of 10 to 20 people or more. And if you have hundreds or thousands of users, you can talk to the sales team about the volume discounts that are available on our business and enterprise plans.
So the license is based on the power users who are creating the content, not based on the end users who are using those guides?
In the business plan, it's based on both. So there's a few different types of licenses, but really at a high level, there's two types of licenses. There's creator licenses and end user licenses. So the end user licenses are only necessary when you get to the business plan and above. So if you're just looking to create how-to guides and just share them like by link or by PDF, you probably only need our pro plan. There's only one type of license on the pro plan, and that's for the number of people creating walkthroughs. When you get to the business and enterprise plan, if you're going to be providing that guidance feature to your end users, that's where you pay both for the number of people creating, as well as a lower per monthly fee for the number of end users who are using the guidance feature.
How are you managing the end user who are using the guidance feature, so they all have to subscribe?
Yep. If you're using the guidance feature on our business or enterprise plan, all of your end users have a license.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, because in
So
my
Fetty, if
yeah.
you're asking from the standpoint of how you would use this in your software business,
Yeah.
we have a slightly different plan that I'll talk to you about offline that's designed for
Okay.
software vendors.
Awesome.
This licensing here is really more suited for
Fair enough.
organizations and their internal employees.
Yeah, I got, yeah. That's the kind of
Now
message I
you
got.
can share your guides publicly with just a link or the embed code, and you don't need to license it that way. It's only
Yeah.
when you want that guidance feature that there's additional licensing. And for you as a software vendor, I'll email you, Fedi, and go
Yeah.
offline about how we would make that work for you.
Cool. Thanks, man.
So let me make sure I got all the questions in the chat. I did forget to show you how you can edit guides. So if the person who asked that question is still here or anyone is still interested, let me quickly show you how easy you can edit an existing guide without starting over. This is important because when you use a link or an embed to share your guides, those links stay consistent. And so you can make a change and it'll automatically publish that change and sync it to everywhere and everyone who has that guide without you manually going and chasing down PDF documents, deleting them, uploading new ones. So it's a really important feature. Let me show you how easy you can do that. So let's come to this guide and I'll click edit. And I'll hit 2 questions in one fell swoop. So here you can easily add a step. And if you want to go back to that website, you can, that where you were originally capturing steps, you can click capture steps. It'll open, in this case, Salesforce. You can capture a step and it'll come right in here into this existing workflow. But if you want to add a step that doesn't have a screenshot, which is one of the questions from earlier, you can add this step. Notice this step here has no screenshot and it doesn't need to have a screenshot. You can manually upload your own screenshot or just leave it as a step without a screenshot. You can also add these things called callouts that are cool if you're doing like special pro tips or warnings. So you can add a step without a screenshot that's like, warning, do not click this button or the database will delete, right? Or you can say, hey, pro tip, when talking to webinar, I can't spell it, webinar leads, ask them this question that came up on the webinar, right? So there's multiple different kinds of non-screenshot steps or call outs you can add in here. And when I click done editing, anywhere the link or embed for this workflow was, it automatically updates. So 10 seconds later, when the next person comes in, they'll, without you having to do anything else, they'll instantly see the updated version of this particular walkthrough.
Do you allow users to comment, like actual users, just to say like, hey, can you improve this or something, so that the designers can get the message?
Yeah, great question. We do have that feature. I forgot to show you. So let me open up the end user experience. By the way, Teresa, I saw your question as well. And Teresa's question was, is Tango good for standard operating procedures or task tutorials? That's exactly what people do with this. So really any process, business process, SOP tutorial that is happening with a software program, Tango is perfect for that. And we have a lot of IT teams and operations teams that use Tango to standardize the way processes happen in their company on software. So let me show you how end users can contribute to the process or ask questions if they get confused. So let me go back to my end user experience. Let me open a workflow for my Chrome extension here. Let's do this creating a lead in Salesforce one. So I opened that. Remember, we're back to the end user experience. So the end user panel is going to open on the right. Notice the orange button is telling me to click on leads. Let's say I'm immediately confused as an end user, or I have a suggestion. I can come here and click add a comment. And I can say like, what's going on here? multiple things will happen when I send this comment. You, the creator of this guide, will get alerted by email that this comment came in. You will get shown the step and the screenshot associated with a step. So you actually already have a bunch of context that you need about the step that they're confused on or that they're suggesting on. In a few weeks' time, we're going to have integration for these comments in Slack and Teams, so that they'll be able to be delivered in your flow of work that way, not just email. And then you can, resolve or improve or optimize whatever's going on where the user left that comment to help them. Now, these comments are private in nature right now. In March, we're going to introduce a new capability where teams can collaborate directly on steps together, where the admins and creators of processes will have the option of leaving comments public so that other people in the future will be able to see people from their department or company, the comments that they made, if the admin so desires. All right. So I see we're starting to lose people. It's late in Scotland. So Zane, I don't know if you're still there, but appreciate you staying up late in Scotland. I have a few more minutes, so if there's any other questions, I can stick around. By the way, I didn't, Teresa, you're still there. I forgot to answer your question about virtual desktop. The answer is yes. If you have the Tango Pro plan or business plan, that comes with the desktop software to capture desktop programs. And that will allow you, we have a lot of clients that capture processes that involve end user computing where there's virtual desktops. So I definitely owe a follow-up to you, Fetty. So I'm going to email you to set that up.
Perfect. Thanks, man.
Does anybody else want to connect with me offline after the meeting to follow up on anything we discussed? If so, just put your hand up real quick or drop a chat in and I'll make sure to get with you. Is that Anurag doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
I do want to connect with the salesperson and I have some follow-up questions on the technology as well.
Okay. I'll get with you, Anurag, and make sure that we coordinate those follow-ups.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. So Teresa, is it the same ease of use or would require additional editing? So Teresa, Teresa, you're asking great follow-up questions about how it works with virtual desktop. I'll be honest, I'm not like a total expert on that. I just know we have a bunch of customers that use it that way. Would you mind if I connect you with someone who can better show you how it works with virtual desktop after this meeting? That's you. I'm gonna assume that that's okay, great. There you go. Sure, that would be great. Okay, so I'm gonna follow up with Teresa, Anurag, and Fetty after the meeting, and make sure that all of you get what you need. You are going to get a generic email from me in a few minutes, so that's not like the custom email from me. So if it looks like in that email I don't reference the specific follow-up action that I just promised, that's because that's a system email. I will also follow up with you personally to do the follow-up actions we talked about.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you sticking around so long. Have a great day. I'll connect with all of you really soon.
Thank you.
See ya.